Okay, welcome in. I'm now going to be reviewing Wednesday's action from the NHL, the second last day of hockey when it came to the regular season. Starting with the teams you see on your screen as the Pittsburgh Penguins, who had already been eliminated the night before, took on the New York Islanders, who would finish third in the Metropolitan Division. So they had nothing to win and nothing to gain after this contest. But either way, I'll still take a look and see who scored and who won this contest. I should have said game, should say contest twice. So in the first period, Nelson would kick things off, getting his 34th goal of the year, assisted by Holmstrom, 4 minutes and 56 seconds of the first. Raquel would tie the game up with a minute and a half to go. For Raquel, that'd be his 15th goal of the season from Bunting and Malkin. After 20 minutes of play, it was all tied up at 1. In the second period, Malkin would give the Penguins a 2-1 lead, getting his 27th goal of the year from Crosby and Erik Karlsson, a power play goal, 6 minutes and 14 seconds of the second frame. Cizikas would tie the game up with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. For Cizikas, that'd be his 10th goal of the season, assisted by Romanov and Bolduc. Puustinen would give the Penguins a 3-2 lead with 5 minutes and 23 seconds remaining. For Puustinen, that would be his 5th goal of the season, like I'd already mentioned, and it was 3-2. I think I just said that same thing twice. I apologize. Palmieri would tie the game up with just 16 seconds to go. Or for Palmieri, that'd be his 30th goal of the year, assisted by Nelson and Mike Riley, a power play goal to note. In the third period, Bolduc would give the Islanders a 4-3 lead, getting his 2nd goal of the season, assisted by Pollock, and, if I pronounce this name correctly, Iskakov, a power play goal, a minute and 36 seconds of the third period. Jeff Carter would tie the game up, and I will talk about him once I review the game. For Carter, that would be his 11th goal of the year, assisted by Crosby and Bunting, a power play goal with 9 minutes and 4 seconds remaining. Holmstrom would get the go-ahead goal, which would end up being the game-winning goal, with 5 minutes and 33 seconds to go. For Holmstrom, that would be his 15th goal of the season, assisted by McLean. Now, I just want to go back to Jeff Carter. After this game, he did announce his retirement, and it's hard to believe that he was in the league for 20 seasons, and quite fitting that he scored in his last goal, or his last NHL game. All right, the next contest took place between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So both of these teams already knew where they were going to be at when it came to the standings. Toronto would finish third in the... Oh, before I forget, so after the victory from the previous game that I looked at, the Islanders finished 39, 27, and 16. Again, they were finished third in the Metropolitan Division, and after the loss, the Penguins finished the season 38, 32, and 12. So I do apologize, I forgot about the record. Alrighty, so getting on with this contest. Neither of these teams had much to play for, as the Maple Leafs did finish third in the Atlantic, and win or loss, the Tampa Bay Lightning would still be the number one wildcard team in the East. So in the first, Nick Paul would open up the scoring, getting his 24th goal of the year, assisted by Duclair and Dumba. 3 minutes and 58 seconds of the first period. Kucherov would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 44th goal of the season from Hagel and Stamkos, and that goal happened 6 minutes and 14 seconds into the first. Ryan Reeves would get the Toronto Maple Leafs on the board, getting his 4th goal of the year from David Kampf and Dewar. with 6 minutes and 42 seconds remaining on the clock. So after 20 minutes of play, the Lightning had a 2-1 lead. In the second period, Duclair would get his 24th goal of the year from Nick Paul and Stamkos. 6 minutes and 37 seconds of that second frame, increasing the lead to 3-1. Braden Point would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his 46th goal of the season from Kucherov and Radish, a power play goal with 2 minutes and 55 seconds remaining on the clock. Hagel would score with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go, so less than a minute after Point scored. For Hagel, that would be his 26th goal of the season, assisted by Christian DeHaan. So after 40 minutes of play, the Lightning had a 5-1 lead. In the third period, Janot would increase the lead to 6-1, getting his 7th goal of the year from Isinot and Chaffee, or Chafe. That goal happened with 8 minutes and 33 seconds to go. TJ Brodie would get his first goal of the season. Hard to believe. Took until game 82 to get his first goal of the season. Assist by Dewar and Kempf, and that goal happened with 5 minutes and 58 seconds to go, cutting the deficit to 6-2. Holmberg would cut the deficit in half, getting his 7th goal of the season from Robertson with 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. And then John Tavares would cut the deficit to 6-4 with 35 seconds to go. For Tavares, that'd be his 29th goal of the season from Nylander and Timmins. So 6-4 would be the final score in favor of the Lightning. With that, they finished the season with a record of 45, 29, and 8, and the Toronto Maple Leafs finished with a record of 46, 26, and 10. Alrighty, the next matchup took place in Dallas, where we had the Stars playing host to the St. Louis Blues. So the Blues came into this contest having already known they were not going to be participating in the postseason. The big thing for Dallas was if they could secure a win, they would finish with the top record in the Western Conference, which means, in theory, if they made it all the way to the Western Conference final, they would have home ice advantage throughout. So there was no scoring in the first period. In the second period, Rob Thomas would open up the scoring, getting his 26th goal of the season from Bolduc and Braden Shen. And that goal happened with 2 minutes and 41 seconds remaining on the clock. In the third period, Marchment would get his 22nd goal of the season, tying the game up at 1 from Duchesne and Lindell. 5 minutes, 11 seconds of the third period. This game would need overtime, but no one would be able to score in overtime. We had to go to a shootout where Robertson would get the game-winning goal, giving the Stars a 2-1 shootout victory over the St. Louis Blues. And with that, Dallas would finish first in the Western Conference with a record of 52, 21, and 9. And after the loss, the Blues finished the season still very respectable, 10 games above 500, 43, 33, and 6. But it was just that tight of a contest, or that tight of a race, that they were not able to jump ahead of Vegas for that final wildcard spot. Okay, the last game, very important game, by the way, too, between the Arizona Coyotes and the Edmonton Oilers. Now, again, another meaningless game, didn't affect either team as to win or loss, where they would be in the standings, as Edmonton has already locked in second place in the Pacific Division, while the Coyotes would fall out of a playoff spot for the 4th consecutive year. Alrighty, let's take a look and see how this one went and who scored and yada, yada, yada. Alrighty, so in the first, O'Brien would kick things off, getting his 5th goal of the season from Valimaki and Kesserling. 2 minutes and 18 seconds of the first period. Carrick would tie the game up at 1 with 6 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. For Carrick, that'd be his 10th goal of the year from Ekholm and Bouchard. After 20 minutes of play, we had 2 goals, 1 each. In the second period, just the 1 goal to report, and that's from Michelli. And that goal happened with 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go. For Michelli, that'd be his 17th goal of the season from McBain and Ratty. After 40 minutes of play, the Coyotes had a 2-1 lead. In the third period, Logan Krause would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his 23rd goal of the year from Kolyuchynuk and Genther. 4 minutes and 55 seconds of the first period, increasing the lead to 3-1. Warren Fogle would get on the goal scorer sheet, getting his 20th goal of the season, assisted by Broberg, 8 minutes and 1 second of the third frame. Genther would increase the lead to 4-2, getting his 18th goal of the season from Keller and Kerfoot, a power play goal, with 5 minutes and 33 seconds to go on the clock. Dursey would add a late empty net goal. I shouldn't say a late empty net goal. There was still 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go, but the Oilers did pull their goalie early. For Dursey, he would get his 9th goal of the season, and 5-2 would be the final score from Arizona. So with that, they finished the season with a record of 36, 41, and 5, and the Edmonton Oilers finished the season. They had one more game to go. At that point, they were 49, 26, and 6. So one quick thing before I end the video is that this was actually Arizona's last game in the state of Arizona. They're actually being relocated to Utah for the 2024-2025 campaign. So the end of an era has happened. The Coyotes, who initially were the Winnipeg Jets, they got relocated to Arizona. They were there for almost 3 decades. It's hard to believe. And then now they're moving on to Salt Lake City. Okay, that takes care of my recap from Wednesday's action of the NHL. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, take care.